Hi everyone, a slightly different video today. No demo, no music of any sort. It's just that I'm about to change apartment, move to a different city, by Paris, and I thought this would be a good occasion to do a bit of a farewell studio tour. There's actually not much more than what you can see on the screen right now. There's a bit of gear on that side, but I don't know, I thought it could be interesting to just ramble about the gear, what I use it for, maybe answer some of the questions I get asked often about routing and clocking and whatever. So I'll just take you around with the camera and just talk about stuff. Just fair warning, there's not going to be any music in here, so you can switch to the next video if that's what you're looking for. So basically this is the space. I'm as far in the corner as I can. So as you can see, even with the wide angle, I can barely get the entire room. It's pretty small, but it's a luxury to have a studio actually, especially in Paris, so can't complain. Some records, the one that get listened a bit less are here, the other one are in the living room, of course. It's not the most usable because the knobs are really close, but I like it, I don't mind, it's perfectly fine for live sets. We have some extra gear here. It's fun and useful to have a little pod like this when you go jam with friends. This one absolutely doesn't make any sense. Right now it's just a placeholder for modules, but the Metropolis is gonna get used again soon. The Oxy Meta should have a demo in the coming weeks. I was gifted this by Oxy, great fun module for transitions. Then we have of course a lava lamp because studio isn't complete without one. The Verbos system, which for the longest time was my only system. I used to have a 12U, mostly Verbos. If you reach far back into the videos, you'll see this. I've used it so much that I'm a bit jaded now. I don't know. I pick and choose modules from time to time. I really love the voltage multi-stage and keep using it. But it's due for a comeback. It's been a while, I haven't really used it. It's been sitting on the side forever, which is a bit of a shame. You can tell my daughter has been here because all the sliders are neatly at the top. We have the DFAM classic, in my opinion. Such a good synth, basically a complex oscillator. It's also a fantastically fun, simple sequencer. Great drum machine, percussion source. You can do everything with it. It's just such a genius little box. Speaking of genius, I think this was genius. It's like best 19 or so euros I've spent at IKEA. All my cables are finally neatly arranged on this, and if you're playing out and you have to put cables in your bag and try not to forget them, this is heavily recommended. It used to be all in one gigantic knot in one bag, and I would take hours every gig to sort them out and find the ones I needed. So yeah, this is money well spent, and I actually like the look it gives to the wall. There's also a death metal hat that doesn't fit me at all. We have some pedals, the space pedal and the El Capistan space. I still use it for live a lot. Always bring it to the gigs and usually put it in send return on the zone mixer. The El Capistan I don't bring live. I love that pedal, but I sort of run out of ins and outs on my interface, so I can't really put it in send return. So yeah, it's sitting on the side for now, but same, it's due for a comeback because it sounds really good. I've been planning forever to upgrade to the real tape, like the EchoFix machines. So maybe in the future, but for now this is fine, especially since I don't even use it. I've been using mostly plugins for delay or the DP4. So the desk as it is now is been like this for quite a few months. That's basically what I make music with. That's a lot, and also not crazy too much. There's a bit of everything, I think. A fair bit of processing. The last arrival is the Oxy one, which I was kindly gifted by Oxy. I've never used such a sequencer, and I really fell in love. It's super nice. I actually didn't think I'd love it that much. So there should be a video about this. I don't know, soon, let's say. Maybe when I'm settled in a new studio. So not so soon. This is the DP4, a fantastic multi-effect from Ensoniq. You have A, B, C, D, you can run them as stereo. So right now it's set up as AB stereo, it's one effect, and CD is stereo, another effect, but I could probably save outputs and run mono input to stereo output, because pretty much all my sound sources are mono. Yeah, it's a fantastic machine, love it. Then we have the trusty DynSync RE909. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know I had the Alpha Bass before. After a while on the Alpha Bass I used to just put 909 samples, so after a while I said maybe I should buy a 909, and that's what I did. And when I bought this one, I pretty much never turned the Alpha Bass on after that, so basically it was time to sell the Alpha Bass. This is the Syncussion, something I gifted to myself for my birthday 2 years ago maybe. It's a fantastic synth as well. It's a percussive synth, completely different from the DFAM. And you have two identical channels. I used to have the SY05 by Michigan Synthworks, same brand as this one. This one is a faithful recreation, one-on-one, bit like this one. Yeah, it's huge, it's sturdy, it's beautifully made, and I use it a lot for everything from hi-hats to FX to sub basses. It's really quite versatile while also having a very signature sound. But I don't know, it's I think if you like techno, deep techno and psychedelic sounds, it's a must-have. My speakers are the Footprint 02 by Barefoot Audio. I know they're in probably the worst spot possible for this space, like in the corner. I mean, if you had a look at my Sonarworks EQ curve, you'd probably want to throw all that out the window. I have a very small space, like I said, so I kind of went fashion over function, which maybe wasn't the best decision. I really mostly use these 99% of the time, my ODZ LCD2 headphones. These are not the X. I should probably upgrade to the X at some point, but I know them very well and they've been translating well as well, so I don't feel the need to upgrade for now. But the Barefoot are great speakers. That's definitely the main upgrade I will do in the next iteration of the studio, is to give them the space and the treatment they need to shine, because here they really don't sound the best they can, which is a bit of a shame given that they are really good speakers. Also, I've been quite unlucky with them. Both of them just stopped working one day. It's the DSP inside that just, I don't know what happened, but I think the right one just stopped working. Took ages for Floating Point Audio to send it back. It was like a week after warranty expired, of course, and yeah, so they had to send it back to Portland, Oregon. Took ages. It's been back, it worked for like a few months, and then the other one, exact same thing. So I don't know what happened, if it was a wrong batch or anything, but yeah, I was a bit disappointed to say the least. Luckily, Barefoot was kind enough to repair the second one for free. I had to pay for the first repair though. I bought an UPS, which is like something that regulates the electricity with battery also, just in case if my electricity was the culprit. I don't know, so far they've been working well, knock on wood. That was a disappointing experience, but nothing against the sound. I love the look, but they stopped working, and that's quite annoying when you have something less than 3-year-old. What else do we have? We have the OB6 Majestic Poly Synth, which is classic, simple, beautiful, sounds good. This is the modular I've been using most of the time recently. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's like a mix of stuff I use for live, or it's almost semi-modular, to be honest. But I most of the time I use Atlantis for bass lines, this for top lines, lead lines, whatever. There's a bunch of utilities so I can attenuate, but there's not a lot of modulation, although Pamela's Pro Workout can really handle a case like this in terms of modulation. We have a bunch of effects, Kameniac, which is due for a demo very soon. Maybe it will be out by the time this video is out. The BBD delay, Sarajevo, which is probably my favorite delay I've used in Euro. I love the Verbos delay, but I really like this one. It's more of a more straightforward, simple delay, but I really like the vibe and the sound it has. Ghost, which is a multi-effect module I would never have thought in a million years I'd like, but I do like it. It's quite useful. I thought I would only use it live, and I ended up using it pretty much all the time. It's always plugged in. And this module, which I also was gifted for demo, Aircraft Design Amber, which is a mid-side distortion stereo. So this one also should have a demo very soon, or maybe already out by the time you see this. It's from Ukraine, and it sounds really nice. Then we have some cables, my main interface which is the Motu 16A. It's 16 line in, 16 line out. Very useful in that configuration. Most of my instruments are going straight into the interface. I have like 5 outputs from the 909, stereo output from the OB6, but I could probably put it in mono because I don't really like the pan spread for the kind of stuff I do. I have 2 outputs from the modular, which I can separate. I have one coming from here as well, so I can use that if I plug it in. And then most of the ins and outs are actually used by the outboard, the DP4, the Eclipse, the overstayer, and these 2 EQs and compressors as well. It's stereo, so every time it takes 2 outputs, 2 inputs, and I have them set up as external effects in Ableton, which is super flexible and nice. So overstayer and the 2 Elysia boxes, Expressor and X-Filter, are all in series, and they are usually sitting on the master bus as inserts. Sometimes, if I'm not lazy, I will rerun stems through either one or everything, but most of the time I just run the master through this chain, and I really like it. The Eventide Eclipse is set up as a send return. I usually use it as a reverb or pitch shifter. I mean, it's like it has replaced the space pedal. It's just like a space on stereo. And rack space. It just sounds pristine and crystalline. Complete opposite of this one, which is dark and sludgy, but it's lovely as well. So it's nice to have the best of both worlds. We have this SPL monitor controller, which as the name implies, controls the monitoring. It's also a very good headphone amplifier with crossfeed options, which injects a bit of the left, right in the right ear. It gives a more natural stereo image, not crazy stereo like standard headphones. And it's really nice once you get used to it. It's really useful. You have 2 different set of speakers you can send it to. You have 2 different inputs as well, line in, line 2, line 1 plus 2. You can quickly put in mono or inverse left and right. So all of this is super useful. I find that a monitor controller is a good thing to have in a studio, super useful. Then the Fireface UC, trusty Fireface, it's 10 or so years old. It still works like a powerhouse. So I have this in ADAT slave to my 16A. It basically just gives me 8 more inputs, so it's useful. And also I have a mic input, which I don't have on the Mode 2 I just use it for these videos actually. Not here, we're using the phone, the camera audio, as you can hear, but most of the time I have a mic in here for the videos. This is the multi-clock, which pretty much everyone knows. It's slaved to Ableton, which then sends it a click. Here it sends back an analog clock to my Modular, which I also send to the Oxy One sequencer. And the MIDI is going through to my 909. And you can nudge and shuffle here, and it's basically super useful to keep everything in sync. We have some decoration here to have a nice vibe, cozy vibe. And of course we can see outside my neighbors. Mostly they can see me. Can even bring you outside. Oops. We have the subway. Nice. Paris. If you keep climbing, you arrive at the top of the hill to the Sacré-Cœur. So this is basically a wrap on the studio. Definitely the space where I kind of honed my craft. I became, I think, a bit better at what I do, and that's the studio where I started also to put my music out there and play live and just be a bit more confident in my music, I guess. The previous studio was where I started making music 9 years ago, where I put OP1, and then it casually grew to this over the years. This one had a few different iterations, like any studio. It's a creature that lives and breathes. Gear came and went. But yeah, this is definitely the place where I just found the kind of stuff I like to do. I have a few plans for the next studio. I'm pretty sure now that the main upgrade will be a mixer. I've been wanting one for a long time. As you know, I love recording live and just doing live takes and just slightly editing them in the computer. I don't like arranging in Ableton at all, so I think this is workflow that would suit me. I would also really like having EQs and be able to hook up the outboard to the mixer, so I think it's going to be a nice upgrade, but it changes the workflow a lot. I need to buy a lot more cables, hopefully have a bigger desk, so we'll see how the next space develops. We'll keep you updated for sure in a new video when I'm fully installed over there, probably by the end of April, but we know these things take time and always longer than expected, but hopefully I'll be up and running around April, May, and be able to make a bit more music. In the meantime, thank you very much for checking this vlog kind video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.